So, the last time we spoke, I was talking about how things seem to be moving so quickly in such a terrible direction that it can be really hard to keep tabs on what is going on. And I've just spotted another one that's like slipped under my radar because the mainstream media are just failing to keep us up to date on what is really going on in the world. So, Kier Starmer has actively blocked an international tax reform program which has been put forward. 54 African nations put forward this suggestion to the United Nations, this proposal, and they got support from 125 member states across the United Nations. What it would do is address $492 billion worth of losses that are the results of tax abuse by multinational companies and wealthy individuals. So this is the kind of stuff where corporations move profits from one country to another, normally to a country which is a tax haven. They'll do things like, for example, the company in one country, which is basically the same company but registered in a different country, will charge this company that's made a big profit a huge amount of money for the use of their logo or their trading or their intellectual property, right? So that this company, which has made a big profit, pays all that profit to this company, which has done nothing. It's a tiny little shell company sitting in a tax haven, but technically it's therefore this company which has made the huge profit. And this company has actually made a loss and doesn't owe any tax in the country in which it sold all of its stuff and did all of its business and where we all bought stuff and paid for stuff. Right, this happens globally, and we think it's like $500 billion of annual losses. This revenue that could have been recaptured if Kier Starmer and other countries, including, spoiler alert, the US, Canada, Israel, need I go on? But a handful of super wealthy countries, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Korea, Argentina. I think that's literally it. Yeah, this money would have been something like half the government budget in some of these African countries that really, really need the money to build infrastructure, to put together health services, to put together like basic provisions that keep people alive and keep people safe. Even the UK would have benefited from these measures. We think the money that we would have recouped would have been about 20% of the NHS budget. Imagine if we could just boost the NHS budget by 20%. And let's not forget that the UK is actually responsible effectively for a third of these international tax losses because it is us that sustains these tax havens. They are overwhelmingly British protectorates, and we're the number one people who could be changing this stuff, and our refusal to do so means it's just pointless for anybody else to try and do it. And Kier Starmer himself said at the outset that he wanted to crack down on tax avoidance and tax dodging. He's having a huge crackdown on people claiming benefits, but he will not do the same thing for international corporations who are exploiting people and exploiting the system and we don't even benefit from it. We benefit nothing from these huge organisations not paying tax because they also don't pay tax into our coffers. And at the same time, we are compromising the ability of nations around the world to build the stuff that they need to keep their citizens well and to develop and to make life better, and also to counteract the climate change and the impacts of war and the devastation, which, let's be clear, a lot of which is due to our activities and the activities that we continue to support. It's outrageous, and it's outrageous even more that the mainstream media aren't even telling us about that. Please keep sharing videos like this and supporting people like me who are digging through the real news out there and hopefully getting at least a little bit of it out to you. See you next week. Increasingly, the mainstream media is terrible at informing the public of what is really going on. I'm only able to make these videos because people are generous enough to sponsor me making them, and if you're able to be a part of that, I would hugely appreciate it. It can cost as little as $1 a month, and you'll get loads of fun bonus content and lots of extras from me and my undying gratitude. I also massively appreciate it if you're able to like, share these
videos and let people out there know what's going on.